This is Ms. Upstrom, and today I'll be teaching you how to do an in-text citation for APA format. So here is my research paper, and here is my research paper's coordinating references page. I've already gone through Noodle Tools and put in all the information I need from each resource. It has put it in alphabetical order for me and formatted it with the hanging indentation correctly and everything else that is necessary. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say that this sentence came from, let's say, the fourth resource on the list. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to pretend that it came from this resource. APA requires the author's last name, followed by the date, the year date, followed by page if there is one. So this fourth resource is by DM Blandon. There is a date, but there is not a page number reference to the resource. So I'm simply going to put Blandon after the information that I got from the resource. So I always go to the last word, but before the period, put space, parentheses, author's last name, the year, and if there was a page number, I would include the page number. If there's not, then I simply put an end parentheses. If I did not have a date, for example, for this resource, then I would put the note that it has ND in parentheses. That is what I would put here. N period D period with a comma in between the author and the date. If there is a date, again, you simply put the date. Now, many resources don't have a specific author. For example, this resource here, Timeline of New York History. It has a year, but it does not have an author. It simply has the resource's title. If it is a title of a long piece, it's in italics. If it's a title of a short piece, it's in quotation marks. This is the title of a small web page on the larger resource, so I would put it in quotation marks. So pretend that this sentence has information that came from that resource. Again, I put a space, parentheses. It's a shorter piece, so it's in quotation marks, is the title. Timeline of New York History. In APA, you use the title if it is a very, very long title, more than, I believe, 5 words, then you simply use the first 2 words in the title, because it should still direct you to the resource in the reference list. So, Timeline of New York History. Short enough, so I'm going to type that in. Quotation marks. Now, you always put a comma between the resource, title, or author, and the date. That goes inside the quotation marks here. The year that it was updated was 2017, and I do not have a page number, so I simply end my quotation marks and then a period, or my parentheses, and end it with a period. Now, again, if I did not have a date, this would simply become N period D period to symbolize no date. Now, if your resource has several authors, for example, this one, Holly and Gallen, that is how you would cite it in text. Let's pretend this sentence came from there. or information from that sentence. I put parentheses. I put the first name that shows up. I use an ampersand, which is that symbol, not the word and the second person's name. And then a comma and the date. And if there was a page number, I would put P period, whatever the page number is, 7 for example. No space again after the parentheses and before the period. Note that there's a space after the commas and that it is simply P period page number. There is nothing, there's no PG, there's no full page written or anything like that. This is exactly what it should look like.